I am back from Rao Consultants. It's me Purvi Antani. We have been doing our sessions on vocabulary and pronunciation. In continuation to the last two episodes, this time we are all about books and reading. Well friends, books and reading is one such topic which is again very common when it comes to IELTS Part 1, Part 2 or Part 3. Here I have come up with certain words which will help you if you have any question about books, anything about reading, like describe your favorite book, a book you like to read, a book that you have recently read, a book you would want to read, etc. So here are some of the words which will help you speak good, which will help your speech look wonderful, and the words will help you to enhance your speaking when it is about books and reading. So before we start about the vocab on reading, let me first tell you how can you describe different kind of readers and different kind of books. So what kind of answer do you give when someone asks you, what kind of a reader are you? When someone asks me, I say, I'm an occasional reader. Now what's that? Well, occasional reader is someone who doesn't like to read on regular basis, like he or she is not someone who is addicted to reading. He or she reads whenever there is a necessity to read. Occasional reader. If there is an occasion. So this friend of mine gifted me a wonderful book and she said that I should read it because it is something which I would like. I read it occasionally. So I am an occasional reader. So when you are describing yourself as a reader, make sure first you describe what kind of a reader are you. And if you read books very rarely or upon some occasion, or if someone gifts you a book, then you come in the category of what I am, that is an occasional reader. Moving ahead, someone who is an enthusiastic reader. Now enthusiastic, what do you understand the word enthusiastic? Someone who loves, someone who is very excited, someone who's on the top, enthusiastic, very excited. So someone, oh wow, I'm going to start reading a book right now. You're enthusiastic, you're happy, you're thrilled. So someone who is extremely thrilled about reading, loves reading, is someone who is an enthusiastic reader. So you know, you anticipate things. Okay, this is going to be a super interesting book. This would be the content, these would be the characters, this would be how the book is going to play. So someone who loves reading, who is extremely enthusiastic, falls in the category of enthusiastic reader. Moving further, have you heard frequent flyer? Now who's a frequent flyer? Someone who flies very frequently. So similarly, frequent reader is someone who reads very frequently, someone who reads very often, who is maybe who reads on regular basis, maybe who reads weekly. Such a reader can be called as a frequent reader. So we have three categories here. I am an occasional reader. I read very less. I am an enthusiastic reader. I love reading everything, and especially when it is fiction and love stories. I am a frequent reader. I read on regular basis. So that's the difference, guys. And a very interesting term that's called a bookworm. Now, have you ever heard this word bookworm? Yes, it's a worm, but basically you use this term for someone who is glued to books, who just love reading books. So anywhere you see this person is with his books. Geek. Okay, I should not be using this word. So basically someone who loves reading, who's glued to books, who's on books every time, you use the word bookworm. So person who's addicted to books. So next time when you're describing something about books, make sure you describe yourself as either of the one reader. Now we move further to the types of books or types of reading or genres. If you remember in the last class, which was about actors in movies, we discussed about the genres. Same thing applies here as well. We have genres of book which can be fiction or non-fiction. Now fiction normally includes a story. It is a story. It is not something which is true. It can be inspired from the real incidents, but it has, you know, a lot of fiction into it, stories, romance, drama. So it is an all package of fun and excitement, thrill, crime. So this could be something which has a story in it, which has characters, and which is specifically made to love the readers. And there is very less influence of something that is actually true. So you call that genre to be fiction. When it comes to non-fiction, rather it's the other way around. It can be autobiography, it can be science fiction, right? So yes, fiction, science fiction would be included in fiction, but there are a couple of things which are, you know, which is something which is actually true, like an autobiography, true. If you're describing about probably a scientific discovery, it is true, will come in non-fiction. So that's the difference between fiction and non-fiction. If you're interested in fiction, you normally love reading things which are of course not true, dream world, love stories, action, romance. That will come in fiction. When it comes to non-fiction, maybe someone's autobiography will definitely be a non-fiction. So these are very common things when it comes to books and readings. So it is the type of readers, occasional, enthusiastic, frequent, etc. and the type of genres. The basic category is fiction and non-fiction. It is further divided. Now we move further to some really interesting words which I normally use when I am, you know, when I am describing something specifically about books and readings. Now, if I start with the first word, I love this word. It's a page turner. So when I say I finished the book in a day, it was a real page turner. What do I mean by that? The book was so interesting that I was like just flipping all the pages and I finished it in one go. So when I find something very, very, very interesting and I'm totally glued to it, I finish the book in a day, I will call it to be a page turner. So I couldn't stop myself. I went through all the pages and I finished the book in a day or in a night. So I'll call that book to be a page turner. Moving further, the next word is intriguing. I have also written the meaning here. It could be fascinating or something which is very curious. You know, I am intrigued. I am curious, right? He has a very intriguing nature. I was intrigued. So when you use this word, intrigued, you normally are describing something which is very curious, something very fascinating. Moving further, the next word is implausible. Again, a very common word, but we very rarely use it because we use words like unlikely. So probably if I say that the ending of the story or some of the instances described in the book were implausible. So when I'm using the word implausible, I mean something which is very unlikely to happen, something which is hard to believe, something on which, you know, something that you cannot trust very easily. Really? Did that happen last night? The incidents described in the book was very implausible. So something which is hard to believe, which is unlikely to happen. So for such instances, you use the word implausible. Then we have two words here. They are antonyms. You have prologue and epilogue. Very common words, but I don't see children using these words very often. So prologue comes from the word preface. Do we know what a preface is? It is the introductory part of a book or the introductory part of a story. So prologue normally tells you about what the story is. It gives you an introduction to a story, introduction to a book. So next time when you want to use the word introduction, don't use introduction, you will be using prologue. It will give a good impression, of course. And specifically when you are preparing for IELTS examination, I recommend using of such words. They definitely will, I hope, enhance your scores in your IELTS examination. So next time, the prologue was so interesting that I read the entire book and it was a real replica of it. So that means the prologue was very interesting. You found it would be really good, and when you read the entire book, you realized that it was true. Actually, the book was very good. Okay, opposite to the same, we have epilogue. So epilogue is conclusion. Prologue, the opening or the introduction. Epilogue, the conclusion. So can I say that the epilogue was pretty implausible? So when I say that the epilogue was pretty implausible, I am saying that it was hard to believe the conclusion of the book. So when it comes to the conclusion, it was something which is very unlikely to happen, something which is very hard to believe. So we use the word epilogue to describe the conclusion. So for describing the conclusion or to show what is the end of the book or the last part, rather than conclusion, you would now be using the word epilogue. So prologue, epilogue, two opposites. Prologue used for introduction and epilogue used for conclusion. So thank you friends again. I hope this session would be beneficial to you. Make sure you use such words in your speaking, in your writing, when you are conversing with your friends, when you are at an interview, when you are having a great time, when you are conversing with others. They surely will help you to improve your English. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Next week we'll come up with another genre where I'm going to teach you other vocabulary words. And in the comment section, please tell me you want vocabularies for which session. I will make sure that I include those parts because I know exams are coming in. A lot of you have issues with the kind of vocabulary which will fetch you good marks in your IELTS examination. So in the comment section, please let me know which section you want help in and I am here to help you. Bye-bye. It's Purvi Antani signing off from Rao Consultants. Have a great weekend.